what Christmas is all about?
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please.
Well, it was just after Thanksgiving, and there was snow on the ground and fresh white flakes sprinkling down in the sunny morning. And it felt like winter was really here, like we got our base coat early, and maybe all of December would be pretty, and we'd even have snow on Christmas. Well, as a New Englander, you get used to these flukes. And especially in recent years, as you've noticed the inconsistencies in nature's rhythm, and heard the stories of how it used to be, and you start to wonder, are these the last years we'll even have signs of snow on Christmas? All the more reason to enjoy every second of it while it's here. You spend too much time in the what-ifs, and you miss the magic of right now. And so we marveled at these snowy mornings and talked about their beauty, and remembered we needed to get as much material as possible to the cabin before the snow piled up on the inlet. And so lumber was loaded into the old black sleigh. John had a number of projects on his hands that the gang would all stop by to help on.
I'm just making it basically good enough for him to drive down here and turn around, have a dumpster.
And before long, the snow turned to rain, and early December was cold, wet, and brown. And Noah and I were having more conversations about cameras and spent a late night or two playing around with footage, where I learned all sorts of new things and felt inspired to get out and shoot.
There's nothing like walking out here late night when it's snowing.
Dude.
And then came day one of the driveway project on John's property.
Might got myself some ham and ham salad sanditos as well. Oh boy.
John led the way building my cabin driveway, and I couldn't have done it without him. And part of the deal was that I'd help him with his.
Hi, champion.
So there's an old enforcement order on his property, as one of the previous owners had a bunch of wood chips and debris dumped down the 1,000-foot driveway. But underneath it all was old road with hardpack. So the goal was to scrape all the debris and load it into dump trucks to be brought to the local farm, where it would be turned into compost for all the townsfolk's gardens. And I had never operated a bucket loader in my life, and certainly never loaded a dump truck. So I was nervous, but I wanted to step up and impress John and do a good job. So I went slow and stayed focused, and eventually got a feel for the machine. And that hardpack was there after all, and things were looking good. In fact, I was getting more done than I anticipated. And on this first day, John showed up early to help me get started, and then I was on my own for the rest of the day. So I scraped and trimmed brush and made big piles and tried to keep it organized for when the truck showed up. Though in the back of my mind, I had a real anxiety of the thought of loading that first triaxle.
That's a bit brown.
And the entrance where the trucks were to be loaded was uneven, with low-hanging branches and trees everywhere. And given that the material had branches and stumps and was messy to begin with, and the road was pretty slick and muddy, the whole process was going to be tough. You want to load the truck as evenly as possible and avoid hitting it or bumping into it, and also avoid telephone wires and all other obstacles. It really is a lot to think about at once. And as I heard the first truck roll up, I knew the only thing that I could do was go slow and steady. And it went well. I worked until dark, then went to a local joint with Allie for prime rib.
Why don't you have your X100?
And then a few days later, we met Noah and Kaylee to go get Christmas trees.
Okay. And then
Not go outside without Trout.
yeah. Oh, Kaylee.
And we caught a nice pink sky and tied our trees up as the world turned blue. And Noah and I were testing shots on our cameras to take back and edit later on and compare. And it's always so fun nerding out on the things you're passionate about.
Dang. Oh, God.
And the next morning, it was back to the old house to keep moving on the driveway, where John had the excavator dropped off so we could work in tandem and make big strides. And Jack was there too, to help clear and keep things moving. And he would scrape the refuse into piles and keep them fluffed. And I would load triaxles all day long and continue scraping the road between trucks. And Allie would stop by and bring lunch with saving grace. By the end of the day, we had the road scraped up to the house, but still needed to clear the sides and had countless loads of material left to move. But John was now driving down a hard-packed road instead of a mushy mud pit. And after long days of nonstop work and focus, with sore neck and back, we got good dinners at our favorite spots, then woke up and got right back to it. And on the third full day, things looked different, as by now we'd moved over 20 loads of material, and the entrance was starting to look pretty clean compared to what it was. And the maestro showed up before dark to help move that old trailer out of there too.
What a ridiculous shot. Did it grade at all, Mason?
Huh?
Did it grade at all?
Oh, yeah.
It did? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Very proud of myself. I like that. Look at that, we got a free trail. Two little wheels. Each side. One little pintle hook. Smashed front, but it's okay. We're only here for the trailer.
That's all you need.
Oh, I need him. He's so like optimistic.
Well, it's America after all.
Yeah, buddy. I'm glad you're here. And where's the key?
Both of the keys are in the loader.
Yeah, in the normal spot.
And the crescent moon hovered just above the trees as we made plans for the next day. And on that fourth morning, the snow came. Just a light, soft layer, but enough to change the whole mood.
Grab you some diesel.
That's what you get when you rush.
This road, there's like one this way and then one now. This guy just dies a week later. That's empty
And sometime around noon, John's father brought us a pizza.
You could not have hit the spot any harder.
And it's funny how something so simple and basic can seem God-sent in the moment. And by now, we were really scraped up, and we had to load most of the leftover debris by hand. And that feeling of completion was washing over us. I went from not knowing how to run a loader to filling over 40 trucks, and by the last afternoon, I was so in tune with that machine that it felt like an extension of my body.
It took probably 2 minutes. If you twist it more, does it come out further?
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, wow. That's
But with the brunt of my work over, I had to get back into the office and keep cranking. And John and Jack spent a couple more days of fine-tuning. And as far as I know, the enforcement order was completed. And in the spring, we'd finalize a beautiful driveway to that old house.
This is for the door.
Yeah, and I harvested all this out of the woods.
And a couple days later, it was John's birthday. So we met him and Maria at a house she was caretaking and had a simple and beautiful night under the growing moon.
Okay.
Get a light mare?
Nothing on me.
It is. It's the biggest enforcement order they've ever given out in Pittsfield. She's such a moody kitty. She's like I'm scared of her. I know this is embarrassing, but I don't remember.
You were the robber, the thief.
That almost ready?
This is what she found?
Yes. Wait. Look at this blue one.
You coming over for scraps already? And I need a haircut. Oh, wow. They stole like that.
Don't walk in.
Banksy's gonna run for the house.
You brought no way. What are the chances?
Oh, I'm excited.
What do we got here?
The rantings of a very
Two
deranged.
cigars.
This is whole wheat phase where he was drawing wheat on everything and wheat shapes.
Yes!
I was covered in wheat.
This is some art from a friend of mine.
Oh, look at this.
What?
Is this his resume?
Yeah, he would constantly.
Wait, it says factory girl at the cafe.
That's great.
He just lives in New York.
Yeah, he works. He does carpentry. He works for like.
Should we migrate to the
Right?
It's delicious. You got burgers, you got ferments.
So many.
That's the city lifestyle.
So many.
So
The
good.
dust over his phone.
Huh? That's
did.
what it comes down to. Alright, I don't care now. I pick them off, alright?
Aren't you supposed to take the butts off the board?
I really wish you had caught what we were doing today in your video photography situation.
What were you doing
Look
today?
down there, it's just
Pulling fence posts.
no, just the fence in general. You know, it's like here we are pumping full of diesel again. Just might have been the fumes of the diesel. Yeah, man, I want Talty's number. I'm throwing my phone's almost out. What'd you say? She's a hog. She's a brutal big bird. Oh yeah, man. So when are you gonna come around, man? So hey. Oh yeah, we're all good. We're all, I mean.
Big honkers.
I was going for it. That's really cool.
Big honkers.
Never made any cartoons. Dude, you still wait. You still have them all with Mr. Amo? You still eat bananas under milk? Yeah. Well, that's just part of life. You know,
Honkers.
you've seen that. Yeah.
Keep them up. Machines.
Yeah, no, you know me, I'm on my driveway, and I guess, well, actually, I called them, and I hung up, never hung up.
Yeah. She's got nice white teeth.
Do you brush?
Those are puppy teeth. Yeah.
Really well.
So we're only gonna get a break, possibly between 1 and 3 on the rain.
And so snowfall turned to rainfall again, and we continued bringing materials to the cabin and spent one warm day doing a final layer of insulation along with a few other tasks.
Uh-huh. What's this thing?
Oh, that could be the one that was
Probably just too big.
We vented the roof in the utility shed and insulated that. This time wearing full body suits after learning the hard way the last time we spray foamed.
See your stomach look really big.
And we brought the hickory flooring in as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. With the shiplap ceiling. It's gonna be so bright here.
And got dinner at our favorite inn before it sold to a new owner. So back in the spring, Allie and I reorganized the basement here in the office and made it much more functional. But over the course of 2021, it's cluttered back up. And above all, for me, my gear table, where I charge all my batteries and store all my gear, is a mess. Organization is vital for productivity, but I think it's also, there's something to be said about it for professionalism. And what I've learned through many years of filmmaking and professional work and all sorts of stuff is that you do your best work when you're excited to do it, when you're not stressed out because you can't find things or because you're rushing or your stuff is disorganized. But I've got this old calendar that I don't ever use, and I figured that would be a perfect place for a shelf. This is exactly how I want to spend a Sunday afternoon, so let's get to it. Kept checking out new parcels of land for sale and bringing materials to the cabin every chance we got. With the days before Christmas dwindling, we added a little bit of holiday charm to the office. And I used Allie's new bath salts to heal my aching back. And then one night, John called me and said he was working on leveling out a new pasture up at his grandfather's farm. So I brought him and Jack some hot dogs and went to see how it was coming along. The moon was bright, but the air was cold and the ground was sloppy wet and half frozen. We stayed warm by the bonfire and eventually migrated up to the house to help John's dad put hay over the garlic bulbs. And we all ended up jumping into the old pile of leaf bags over and over and wrestling and laughing like kids under the moon's glow, the same way we did at this very farm when we were young. And then some days we'd wake up and the rain would turn to snow and ice. And on one Sunday, we drove to the hills for more cabin errands and to pick up a rocking chair I ordered from a talented woodworker and family friend. But first, we stopped at my parents' to pick up supplies.
They really get a kick out of him. And then he says this is the beer of the night.
They got zoinked.
Well, it doesn't look so bad right now.
Oh, they don't look that bad at all, the big leafy one.
Right on top of all of it. But it's like, it's just so much easier.
I love how cute you look. I mean, I would say, like, I just not fun of you being into this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I am in love with
it.
Wait a second, I thought that was part of the deal.
You can't see very well, but there's quite a little bit of yellow sticking through.
Yes.
A lot more yellow, and it looked terrible.
Yeah.
It just looked,
Too much.
I don't know what it was about it, but it was so much yellow sticking through red. It was something that...
Robert told me it was probably the last chair he would ever make on commission, and I look forward to rocking in it my whole life and one day passing it on. And so we covered up all the small budding shrubs at the cabin so that the deer wouldn't eat them over the winter, and brought in the 2x4s to make the bed frame and shelves in the loft. And afterwards, we hightailed it over the mountain to Hancock Shaker Village to see their Christmas light displays.
This looks so magic. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's so pretty. This road is unbelievable right now.
And the lack of snow on the ground certainly changes the feel of these type of experiences. But you can't let that stop you from appreciating the magic.
Fun fact. Never make more beers than you're willing. You should make
And one thing I've come to cherish about this time of year is that it feels effortless to slip into an open-armed, charm-seeking kind of mood. We play old holiday songs, we eat around tables together, and we embrace timeless traditions. It's the one time of year we don't feel so pressured to work, and we slow down and we enjoy more simple pleasures, and smile at single snowflakes falling under street lamps, and pull our shoulders up to our ears in big warm coats, and watch our breath in the cold air. It's the time of year for stories, for laughter, and ultimately for showing love.
I guess, and like picked it up and moved it here when it became a museum. These look really old. It says Shaker's Day, Sabbath tea. Sabbath.
With the winter solstice only a couple days away, we were feeling grateful and excited as we drove home under that cold moon.